This video is talking about the division, so we're going to talk about two different types of division concepts. So oftentimes you may not think about that there are two different types of division, but yes, we do. There are. So that's why this is one of the reasons why division concept is more difficult than multiplication. Do you remember what we talked about multiplication problem? What information is given, what information we need to find out? For the multiplication problem, it's always given the number of groups and number in each group. So we need to find out the total. So whatever strategy they can use, we only need to find out the total number of things we have. That's the multiplication concept. But unfortunately, that's not true for division problem. For division problem, the total is always given. We always know the total. But sometimes we know the number of groups and we need to figure out number in each group. Sometimes we know number in each group, we need to figure out number of groups. So depending on the concept, some of the strategy makes more sense than the other. So we need to be careful when you introduce division problem, the different concepts, what we can do to support kids. So I'm going to introduce different concept in here. We have a problem A and B. You can also see the same problem from slides. So problem A says, Jamie has 20 cookies for a birthday party. She wants to serve 4 cookies per guest. How many guests can she serve? Problem B. For a birthday party, there are 20 cookies and 4 guests. If 4 guests want to share the cookies equally, how many cookies will each guest get? Okay, so solve these problems using chips, then write a number sentences and the answer with the unit for problem A and B. So we're going to share this one here. So Jamie has 20 cookies. For a birthday party, she wants to serve 4 cookies per guest. So what information do we know? Do we know the total? Yes. How many cookies? 20 cookies. Do we know the number of groups or number in each group? For this one, we have a number in each group because each guest will have how many cookies? 4 cookies. So we know number of total and number in each group. So we need to find out how many guests, number of group can you serve. What about here? Problem B. For a birthday party, there are 20 cookies and 4 guests. If 4 guests want to share the cookies equally, how many cookies will each guest get? So do we know the total? Yes, we know the total number of 20. Do we know the number of groups or number in each group? We know the number of groups, which is 4 guests. So we need to find out how many cookies per guest, right? How many cookies per guest. So this one, we know number of groups, but we need to figure out number in each group. So oftentimes when talking about division problem, we often think about the sharing concept. This is a sharing concept in here. 20, how would you write number sentence here? So this one total is 20. And divide by 4. And my answer is what? 5. What is my unit? 5 guests or 5 cookies? What is that? 5. My unit is 5 guests. What about problem B? Problem B here, we have 20 cookies, same, and 4 guests. So I have a 5. What is the unit for this guest or cookie? What is the unit? How many cookies per guest? So this answer unit is 5 cookies per. This is my lefty, so cookies per guest. Do you see that if we have only number sentences here, they're the exactly same. 20 divided by 4 equals 5. So just written expression, there's no difference. But if we're talking about the unit, there's difference. This is 5, but answer is 5 guests. This one 5, but 5 cookies per guest. So this is the difference because of the concept. What we are trying to find out, are we trying to find number of groups or number in each group? You change the unit. So they need to know that what is my answer. The word problem, the unit is really important. So 5 means 5 guests or 5 cookies. They need to understand that. And also, think about how they want to solve the problem. So problem A, let's do the problem A first. How many cookies are there? there are 20 cookies. This is A. Okay. So the A, 20 cookies. I'm going to represent 20 cookies here. So I have 20 cookies. So I have 20 cookies here. And how many guests? I want to serve 4 cookies per guest. So I know that number in each group. So I know that 4 cookies goes 1 guest. Guest 1. Another 4 cookies goes to guest number 2. Do you see how I solve the problem? They can take away 4 at a time because I know that each guest will have 4. My question is how many groups can I have? Another 4 cookies, I'm gonna have 3rd guest. Another 4 cookies, I'm gonna have 4th guest. Another 4 cookies, I'm gonna have guest number 5. So my answer is what? My answer is number of guests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is A. This is probably they're gonna solve the problem. They're gonna take away 4 at a time. And how many groups of 4 can I make? So 1 group of 4, 2 groups of 4, 3, 4, 5 groups of 4. So my answer is 5 groups, which is 5 guests. But this is a problem A. Do you see what I'm talking about? What about problem B? If this is a problem B, I have still 20 cookies here. I have 20 cookies, but this time, do I know number of guests or number of cookies? So I have 4 guests want to share. So I have guest 4. You know what we want to share. Fair sharing is an important concept and kids love fair sharing. So fair sharing is a kind of pretty familiar context for the kids, sharing concept. So here, I have 4 guests. Then how can I do that? We don't know how many per guest. So they're probably gonna deal out, like, dealing out the cards. There are 20 cards, there are 4 players. They want to share the cards equally among the players. Then what they're going to do, they're going to kind of dealing us. Let's do the first 2 first. So this is B. So we know the guest and we know the number of cookies. So I'm going to do 2 for guest and 2 for another guest. And I still have plenty, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to try it by 1 at a time. But I still think I need more, so I'm going to go 1 more. 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to do 1 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my answer, I distributed all the cookies equally among the people. Then what is my answer? My answer is number of guests or number of cookies per guest. For problem B, I'm looking for number of cookies per guest. So this is going to be my answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cookies. That is going to be my answer. So my answer is 5 cookies per guest. So do you see the difference in here? So you have to think about that, how we can write this in here. So also I'm going to show you, next video I'm going to show you more about how to write down this in the equation. I'm going to show you in the next video. But this is 2 different concepts of division. The kids need to understand at the beginning. Okay, good.